full of sports.
Full of sports.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's start with the local front. Let's let our audience know that first and foremost, we have two guests who join us in the studio. Sabrina Burgess, who got her pro card in bodybuilding, and of course, Mr. Brian Iris, the head coach of Vasco da Gama, will join us.
As well as the club president.
And the club president, forgive me, and club president. That's at 12:30.
12:30.
Vasco da Gama. Yeah. Sabrina will be joining us just after 1 o'clock after the news and weather, about 10 past 1. She'll be joining us in the studio. And of course, we open up our lines so that anyone give us a call at 292-9595 before anyone like to talk about any sports or have questions for the guests that will be joining us in the studio. So, from the local perspective, how was it for you on the weekend?
It was interesting. Quite a bit. Obviously, a lot of sports are now winter sports are getting going. With horse jumping, harness racing, the rugby league season started, basketball's underway. It's just a host of different sports. Obviously, the regular football league stuff's going on. Cross country season will be starting this coming weekend, but we've got races underway that started in September. Had the partnery yesterday, so it's been quite interesting.
Fair enough. Also, congratulations to the Bermuda Bicycle Association. They were overseas, if I'm correct.
The mountain bike under 23 championships where Robin Horsfield finished third.
All right.
Over in the Dominican Republic. First time that they've been on the podium for a mountain bike international event for the Caribbean. So yeah, well done.
Big accomplishment there. So cool. And we got the big event coming up this coming Friday, if I'm correct.
Oh yes, Bermuda, Mexico. Quite a few people upset because of the omissions.
Yes, I was about to say, yeah.
Because of the omissions of Mexico, but it is what it is. Hopefully, for our sake, they're underestimating what we're able to produce, and the coach is looking at resting those players until needed, and hopefully we can give them not what they're looking for come Friday night.
Right.
The 3 points. So. They come in strong, and obviously they're the number one seeds in CONCACAF, and they'll be heavily favored on Friday night. But as Kyle often says, if you underestimate us, it could be to your detriment. So
there you go.
If Mexico come in thinking they've won the game before it starts, they could kind of work against them come Friday night.
I surely hope so. I surely hope so, and I won't be surprised if those happen, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because they underestimated it, right?
Yeah. Right. I'm hoping so.
Yeah. Their game gets underway at 10 o'clock again, right?
10 o'clock, yeah.
At the National Stadium, and that's all because of the TV rights.
TV and the fact that USA were playing 2 hours ahead of the Bermuda game, and their game will finish, and then they'll switch right to the Mexico game. Ain't nobody gonna in football on this side. Ain't nobody going to have those two teams clashing at the same time playing on television. So it only made sense to have one of the games moved, which unfortunately was ours,
right.
to the hour of 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So works out for Mexico. They're 2 hours behind us. So people get home from work and get ready to tune in to watch. And for our fans, get an extra hour, whether it be to get dinner or happy hour, one of the other.
Yeah. Most likely happy hour.
Yeah.
So with that said, then the game's on ESPN.
I've
heard two stories.
I'm not 100% sure where. Well, for us, why should I care? We should be all at the stadium.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Which is true.
So, so wherever it comes on, it should be for those who are not in Bermuda.
Now, the capacity of the stadium, that can hold, with the additional
4,500 to
5,000.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's an opportunity to fill the stadium. Hopefully we do. And cheer the boys on. They've done us proud up to now. So why wouldn't we give them our support in person? And I say support, I mean support, not criticism.
Support. Yeah. No, full support.
Yeah.
Right, full support. You're right, not the criticism. I don't understand why we do that. Because if they use one off and then just criticize, that makes no sense.
Yeah. Everybody's a coach for 90 minutes, but don't take the time out to analyze things. Yeah. So
also this month is the ICC.
Yeah, players are over in Dubai. Started training already. We should get regular updates periodically from over there. So, we're looking forward to them doing really well, getting themselves there early, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, farm time.
Yeah, and getting that extra training in that environment is always a good thing. We often shoot ourselves in the foot because we often go a day or two before an event. True. And then we're playing catch up, trying to acclimatize, get used to the wickets, get used to all sorts of things. But this time, I think they've made the attempt to do things in a more professional manner and give the players an opportunity to progress to the next round, because it is 6 teams go through, and it's always good if we can get that start that we're looking for. So hopefully they can get the start come, I believe it's the 18th or the 19th, and we move forward from there.
Cool, that will be next week, Friday.
I believe it's next Friday, yeah.
18th.
Yeah.
So that's good, and like you said, the advantage is good now. We've known in the past not to do or attend an event this early. We usually go like 2 days for the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
And that's of course it goes with a lot of sports, not just in cricket. So this is seriousness, and hopefully we can get it done. And look on the bright side, and if they qualify in this group, is it the top 2 in this group or?
No, it's 3.
Top 3.
Because remember it's 2 divisions.
Right. Okay,
so it's 3 and 3.
Right.
And and then it's a playoff to see who comes 5th or 6th, and then a playoff for 3rd and 4th, and obviously 1st and 2nd. So if you make it to the playoff, you're through to the World Cup.
Which is the top 3 in each group.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. I say you have a plan. Nah, I'm kind of lost in this.
To see where you get ranked. So when you're drawn in the World Cup, they know what position you hold.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, when we qualified for the Cricket World Cup, we finished 5th. So that's why we got seeded into the group that we got, because we finished 5th. Right. So they'll do the same. They'll do the exact same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting there. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Just that listeners to our first guest has arrived. So before we even bring him on, we're going to take a commercial break. And of course, we got to pay the sponsors, both ends. It's going to be possible, right?
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. So let's take our first commercial break, and while we're doing it, we bring our guest into the studio. We'll be back after this.
now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Monday, October 7th. Joining us in the studio now is members from the Vasco da Gama Club. As we all know, there's been a lot of talk, started yesterday after the match between Vasco and Social Club, of a few incidents that took place. But we have Brian Dickinson, the coach of Vasco, excuse me, and the club president here to discuss issues arising on their side of what's been said out in public, and some, I guess, misconceptions. Brian, this is you're in your second year of coaching Vasco.
That's correct.
It's been a challenge, both on and off the field.
Sure.
But through yesterday's match, very hard fought in some challenging conditions with the wind blowing. But the last, I would say, 20 minutes of that match tended to get a little challenging as well, physical, and a lot of off the ball stuff. But we go to comments being made that racial remarks were made by Vasco supporters, if I'm correct.
That's the allegation.
Yeah. Your comments to that?
Well, first and foremost, any type of comments of that nature that bring the game into disrepute is not going to be tolerated by anybody, and I would just encourage anyone who was subject to those type of comments to make an official report to the governing body, the BFA, and that investigation commence from there. Me personally, I didn't hear any comments, so I can't speak to that. Obviously, me being a coach on the other side of the field, but we've already basically started our own investigation from a preliminary perspective, and so once those findings have been made, the president, Paul Franco, and his committee would make the necessary recommendation and take the appropriate action.
Paul, for you, Mr. President, sorry. The match stopped where a fan was asked to leave the grounds.
Yes.
How do you guys plan to address that?
Well, I happen to be, good afternoon, everybody, first. I happen to be in the area where this fan was ejected from. And, these events that have been circulating on social media, yes, he was asked to leave the grounds. I was in that area, and in that area, I didn't hear him make any racial remarks. He did shout profanity, which is there's no need for at the game. But I wanted to be clear that in the area that I was, I didn't hear anything like that. We certainly, as a club, there's no room for racism in the sport, period. I mean, I'm 100% behind local football, period. The Bermuda national team. And we want to, as a club, we want to promote the same message that, Bermuda Football Association is trying to promote. I mean, we sit at presidents' meetings once a month, and these are exactly the types of things that we have to work together to rid of in local football. So that's all I can say, but I was only in one area of the field. So I'm in no way defending this man or this fan for shouting profanities, but he himself didn't say anything racial. But that doesn't mean that it didn't happen in other areas. I mean, important to note that our local matches aren't attended like they used to be attended.
So true.
Which is unfortunate. We, having started a youth program this year, where we have 6 teams, something that's never been done at Vasco before. I mean, we are as diverse about who represents our club as ever. And as a club, I want to make it clear that we don't stand for that sort of behavior. And we will support the authorities, the BFA, in any way to help, clarify this. And if somebody, in fact, or some people, in fact, did act in that sort of way, then we will certainly support any disciplinary action, not just from within the club, but that any other organization stands to take.
Ryan, you mentioned that you guys have started preliminary um, investigations of looking into the allegations.
Sure.
I know it's still early days. We're only a matter of hours, 24, the last 12 hours after a game. But what has your initial, without I guess showing your hand, what has the initial conversation been like with the players that were in the immediate area?
Well, that would be the first thing is to consult the players to see. Obviously, if a player was say racially abused, then another player should have been in the vicinity, or any exchanges might have taken place on the pitch or close to the sideline or that kind. There, I'm just asking them to report them, and we can get that officially documented to support this individual's claim or discount it. Discount it from his perspective, not the complainant. Because just because the player might have been there, didn't hear it, didn't mean it. Again, it didn't take place.
Right.
And again, if a player is subject to that type of behavior, it's no place for that. And I'm sorry that if that did happen, no player should be subjugated to that type of stuff. It's wrong.
So, are you hoping that the player and his club document what is alleged to have happened in order to make sure that all things are covered when it comes down to investigating what's going on?
Because it's out there on social media now, and it has to take that course of action now, because it's out there.
Right.
And one thing with social media, it's always taken pretty much as the gospel. And whether it's discounted or not, the first initial impact is always the most impactful. So to that end, I just think that it's important that Vascular Club as a club be responsible enough to speak to it and what the stance is against it, make that emphatically known, and then, the investigation will reveal the appropriate action that we would have to take.
Yeah.
As you know, in football right now, across the boards, I'm talking international football, racism is alive and well at certain venues in Europe. And actions have been taken, but it feels as the players feel that the organizations don't do enough to eradicate this and take this out, move it away from sport. And something like this, which is not heard of in Bermuda much. Yes, we've heard about it in the past, but not much. What sort of steps would be taken from the Vasco or any clubs in actions like this going forward if this persons or found to be guilty or even not found guilty? What sort of things would be in place going forward?
Well, I can't speak exactly to the policies and the disciplinary action of Vasco. I think that'll be more appropriate for the president and his executive to speak to.
Yeah, sure. And like I said, from the club's perspective, there is no room for racism, period. And if somebody is found to have actually made remarks in the way that's being alleged, then there's no room for them at our club. We do not want to send that message out. We want positive football all around. I mean, we basically, as a club, for those who don't know, I mean, we are drug testing our players. There was a policy that we brought in last year, not to judge anybody who does that. If we have a player that we found that engages in that sort of, takes a drug test and is found to have it in the system, our first step is to try to help that person.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we're trying to lead from the front where that's concerned. And much credit goes to Brian for that, because that's the professional mentality, he brings to football. And, with this, it's another example. I mean, we're strict in that aspect, and we'd be just as strict with this. I have no place for that in my life, period. I grew up in Bermuda. I represented the Bermuda national team, have many friends in football, and I personally, if I had seen something like that going on at the ground, I would have dealt with it myself as president of the club. I would have asked that person to leave, and then there would be disciplinary action taken as a result. There's just no room for it in football.
So what it sounds like from this conversation is that your executive, if the person or something like this, let's put this here, going forward, if something like this happens again, the action is that Vasco will not tolerate it, and then that person will not be allowed on your ground. So that's what I'm
Absolutely. And it's important to note that, you know, you could have a Vasco supporter out there who's not a member of the club. You know, we have rules and constitution within our club that addresses all sorts of things. And I mean, not every football fan is technically a member of the club. So from the club perspective, there's course of action we'll take. And at the football games, I mean, we certainly would ban anybody who's acted in that way from any of our matches. I mean, that's the reality. From the club's perspective, if they happen to be a club member, then there will be repercussions in that way. I mean, we won't tolerate that. We don't. We do not stand for that. And I think that's why I'm here, because I want to make clear that, you know, the actions of 1, 2, 3 people do not, you know, represent what we are as a club. We are a community club. You know, that's what we are. We're not just a football club. You know, we're a community club. I mean, we participate in we're a part of Bermudan culture. We participate as a club at the May 24th parade and anything else that happens that we're invited to. And we are also inviting at our cocktails. We invite, you know, we're open to the community. So it's very harsh. And I'm here to make clear that we as a club do not stand for that. And we will deal with it accordingly.
I notice on social media, there's always whenever something of this nature comes up, or a dispute of sorts, people tend to take a side and get very one-sided in their message. And if anybody thinks of defending what the other side might be, tend not to, because they don't want to be the ones targeted after a while. But what needs to happen is I think everybody needs to pause and find out the facts, all the facts, before making another assumption. Because guess what happens if you're wrong? Do you come back and apologize?
No.
And as Brian said earlier, there's a lot been said already. But the authorities have to get all the documentation, have to get all the information, and then we can, I guess, make a firm, positive decision on what the outcome would be.
Yeah, and it's important that the offending party, you know, give a comprehensive, detailed report, because this can give guidance to further investigations and governing bodies on how to deal with it. You know, how it was said, where it was said, how long the time frame it was said without it being tolerated. You know, so you got many other factors. You got a referee, you got linesmen that were in the area, you got the match commissioner's report to consider. Yeah, and all those key factors help make the sound decisions, you know. So if he was offended, I think that it's very important that, obviously he was, that he give a very comprehensive detail, which we always support in further investigating.
Right. And obviously there then was a bit of altercation, obviously, because it gets heated at times. I mean, one team celebrating because you scored in injury time, the other team's upset because you got a goal against in injury time. So it's kind of emotional at that time because of the way things went. But I think more level heads calm things down a lot quicker than before it escalated to anything other than what it was. And I think now it's time to get that documentation in and ensure that the proper authorities make.
I mean, I was really surprised, you know, from this morning's postings, and even to her, because I didn't see an altercation. Right. I was so busy celebrating the last minute goal, you know, and I found this out after the fact, you know, because I mean, both sides, I mean, they struggled with division. You know,
I was there.
Us in the first half, and them in the second half, and it was a hard. I mean, these guys, they battled out there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It was like 3 teams playing. Yeah. Social Club, Vasco, and UN.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And to see the game end up with that bit of you know, mark on it is unfortunate.
Right.
But I give credit to both teams. You know, they fought hard. You know, and that's a part of football. But what we're here to discuss today, it has no place.
And I'd like to say that I have tried and will try, and I'm sure it will happen. I mean, I respect quite a few. I have a lot of respect for a few people at Social Club, and I would like to sit down around a table and discuss it, because I take it very serious. And we need to work together to figure out what happened.
Right.
I'm not discrediting anything that is being said. I mean, I myself, racism exists on all levels. I've been subject to comments, so nobody likes to be on the end of those comments. So, I mean, I would I take this opportunity, if anybody from Social Club is listening, I would like to sit down and talk and get to the root of the problem, because this is football. We all have a passion for football. We're all, hopefully playing for the same reason. We're just fighting for those victories, and it shouldn't come to this. I mean, we lost a lot last season.
Yes.
You ought to know how to take the good with the bad. And that has nothing to do with the result. Team that won and lost has nothing to do with these allegations. I mean, there's no room for that, period, irrespective of who won or lost. So I take the opportunity to reach out and really work together to get to the bottom of it. It shouldn't be that difficult.
Right.
I mean, we took the gate. We probably I know we had 57 people paid to watch the game because we took the gate. We had 4 or 5 senior citizens, right? So you probably had about 60 something fans at the games. Then you got the match commissioner, referees, players. You probably had about 100 people there total, inclusive of players. There wasn't a lot of people to the point where it shouldn't be able to find out or identify any perpetrator if this in fact took place, and deal with it. And that's hopefully that helps, and we can get to the root of it.
One thing you give credit to Vasco is that they're reaching out to say they want to squash this. They want to get to the root of it. They want to deal with this matter. Because racism is not accepted across the board in any sport. Not just football, but any sport. That's why one reason they enjoy sports, they keep the politics and the racism out. It's been shown, and there's a small percentage of players in any sport, I'm not talking just football, any sport, that will bring into some racism remarks, which is unfortunate. But sports is supposed to be down the middle. Everyone plays and everyone unites in it. Black, white, pink, yellow, white. That's why they separate sports from the politics and things of that sort there. But I give credit to Vesco for saying they want to resolve this situation, and the number of people at the game, what his given numbers.
Somebody saw something.
And I just want to make it clear that the spectator that was removed from the premises, I was in that area the whole game, and if any of this happened, it wasn't him. I mean, I just want to make that clear, because it's very easy to basically, because he was removed from the game, to pin racism on that person. I mean, he was guilty of shouting profanities, and it's not what we want in local football, but that doesn't translate into racial remarks. So I would urge anybody who comes forward, because when you make these allegations, you have to be pretty certain that they're going on. It should be easy to identify.
Well, what we're going to do, we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll continue this conversation when we come back. We'll be back after these messages from our sponsors.
Now, that's Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio. On Power 95 FM. With host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baster.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Again, we're here talking with officials from Vasco da Gama Football Club, or Vasco da Gama Club. They just happen to be in football right now. But I think we've touched on enough of what can be said regarding yesterday's incident, and until the authorities do what they have to do, we are just await for reports and so forth. But let's turn our attention to the actual game itself, not just yesterday's game, but you alluded that last season you guys lost a lot, but to keep that nucleus of players, and now I think you had what, 2 games in, two wins. How do you continue that vein? How do you continue to motivate the players to and follow the guidelines that the club has stipulated? I mean, some clubs wouldn't even attempt to do what you guys have done.
Well, I mean, I would definitely say a lot of credit to our coach Brian and the professionalism he brings to the club. I've known him for a short time, but we've become very close through football, through football, and it helps that I'm passionate about football.
It does.
And I even had to suit up a few times last season. Sure.
Oh, I saw that. I didn't want to bring that up. I didn't want to bring that
up. But it's good to turn the corner. It's great to do it with the same nucleus of players. We lost a couple of players, but we've added a few players. But the nucleus of the team hasn't changed that much, and it's just an attestament, to his coaching and his ability to motivate the players.
The first half of the season last year, we achieved to get 3 points in the first half,
right?
Through 3 draws, right?
Right.
And after the first W, to get 3 points, that's a milestone of achievement.
Yes, sure.
And then to get another 3 points is equally as pleasing. The guys were really disappointed that Humberto came across and delayed and postponed our first game, against Flanagan.
Right.
The guys were charged up for that, but so that game has to be replayed. But we're looking to build on the successes that we've achieved so far. The synergy of the team is very high. Guys are very committed, we're averaging about 18 players per training session. Last year we had some issues in the first half because, as you guys know, the team is predominantly Portuguese, and we got some Romanians in there as well, and trying to get a Brazilian in.
We know.
I can't let out too many people. But a lot of these guys, when they went home for their families over the break, a lot of it started in September, and they didn't come back to January.
Right.
So I had 6 starters that were off island at the beginning of the season. So, we had to work with what we had, and the guys that filled in stepped up to the plate. I mean, our center half slash midfielder slash striker slash winger became our goalkeeper.
Right.
Who was goalkeeper yesterday.
Yes.
Because things happen. And so we had to do a lot of jockeying, and you guys have been involved in sports for a long time. As a coach, you're scratching your head. You come to the game for A plan. In Bermuda, you better come for B plan, a C plan, and a D plan.
Right.
Because you don't know what's going to happen on game day. And so we've got some really good depth in our team. So it gives us a level of consistency. This is what we need for the team to be able to play at a premium level all the time.
I was going to say that obviously from your first year to your second, it sounds like you're deeper this year with depth that will help you. Because Christmas comes, players go missing.
They do, and we've lost as players go missing. I mean, with some of the score lines last year, we lost at 8-0, and we lost at 7-0. We was on the receiving end, as the president said. But guys still showed up.
Right.
And they're back this year.
Let's talk a little bit about your youth program, because it is new. It's something new for Vasco. Last time they were in the league, they didn't have a youth program, so. Putting that all together, how much of a difficulty was it to make sure that you had everything ready for when you wanted to intake these youngsters?
Well, I have to take very little credit for that. If I take any credit at all for that, it's for recognizing that there were people willing and passionate to put a team together and do and just go at this. I mean, between the coaches, the director, might as well shout out to Jimano Botello, who was involved with Devonshire Colts for many years. Um, he basically, you know, he took the bull by the horns. He's got his assistant Joe Corolla, and they're right in there. And we had a few players, senior players that went and took the initial D license course and are now helping out. Our skipper's helping coach one of the teams. So I have to give credit to where it's due, and if any credit needs to be bestowed on myself or our committee as a club, it's just for recognizing that there are passionate people with a willingness to do this, and we just as a club need to get behind them and be as supportive as we can. But and also, can't forget the parents. I mean, without the parents, you got to show faith. To give us a chance to work with your kids. Summersfield, we have to thank them. For just for the partnership and for being able to use their field for this. There's so many people. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but like I said, I take very little credit for that. You have to really give credit where it belongs, where that's concerned.
Yeah, Brian, because it's new, and you're still relatively new to the structure of the organization. How often do you guys get together to make sure that whatever the director of the youth program is doing, it's kind of being able to filter to that senior program eventually when these kids get to that age, because you all want to be playing similar style of football in the event that there's a 15-year-old that turns 16 that could just go right into the sport.
Yeah, and the synergy is important, as you know, as a feeder program to the senior team. And the good thing now is that the team is still and the youth program is in its development stage. So the entry into the senior team is a couple of years off yet,
Right.
unless we get some interest as under 15 team next year, or I think it's under 18.
Right, 17.
I'm still thinking junior stands.
Right. Yeah.
Myself,
Yeah.
right?
What are you saying about?
But if I could say, just to piggyback on what the president said, what was equally disappointing yesterday's event in relation to the youth program.
You had a youth on the field.
For the first time, we had reached out to the youth program
Ball
to have
boys.
some of the junior boys to be the ball boys for the senior game.
Yeah.
Because these guys want to emulate the senior players.
Yeah.
And so we have 4 boys. I want to say thank you to the parents and to Charlotte who helped make that happen. And for them to be a part of a bad experience that parents are trying to keep their children away from.
Right.
It is so unfortunate, And so we're trying to bring the whole family. You bring the junior program to a football game, you're getting parents and supporters, and that's what we're trying to bring back to the community,
Right.
And that's what football needs, a positive impetus at this stage, not this at all.
Yeah. But we only have a few more minutes before news time. Anything else you guys want to add before we finish?
Not really. I mean, just to reiterate that it was very unfortunate, and we as a club do not stand up for that in our sport. This is exactly what the presidents talk about at presidents' meeting. This is what the BFA is trying to promote. And when we go to the BFA AGM, the Referees Association, there's a lot of people working hard to improve football in Bermuda. There's a shortage of referees, and they have to be subject to so much abuse. You know what I mean? It's like, football needs everybody, it needs everybody. And unless everybody is given the same respect, it's going to falter somewhere,
Yeah, I mean, before the game yesterday, it might have been a slight delay in the marking of the field. Still started pretty much on time. And, much kudos goes out to the coach of our social club, Mr. Martin, Michael Martin. The match commissioner was also very engaged as well, Mr. Michael Weeks, JP. Yeah. And the head referee, Mr. Augustus, we all had a conversation about that, and everyone understood the conditions in which we were working under, and everybody was on the same page. So to go from such a positive, understanding commencement to the game being marred at the end is so unfortunate. But I just want to thank those guys in particular as well, and the social club family.
I do want to point out that much credit has to be given to both teams, because that game had a 15-year-old young lady running the line, her first senior game,
Wow.
and the respect that was given to her during the match, where players were on each other not to give her, any grief. I think both teams deserve a lot of credit for that. Just acknowledging that you do have you said it, they're short of officials, so they have 15, 16-year-olds filling in to make sure that your matches get played.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need to make sure that we protect not only the youngsters but all referees as well. So I
Absolutely.
want to congratulate you guys and Such Club for
Yeah.
making sure that the young lady had a good experience for the day. We got despite
Okay, I'll
that.
call
Yeah. Well, we come to news time. We'll be back on the other side of news with more Inside Sports Talk Radio here on Power 95.
back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Basin.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. We do have a caller on the line in reference to yesterday's match at Bernard Park between Young Men's Social Club and Vasco. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Are you the individual that was asked to leave the grounds during the match yesterday?
Oh, yes, I was. It was me that was asked to leave the grounds yesterday. And I do want to clarify that. First of all, my behavior was out of hand towards the referee, because that's who it was towards. And I have sent a statement to the president of AFCO, Mr. Paul Franco, apologizing for my behavior, because he was maybe a couple of feet away from me. And obviously there was children there and mothers and so on. And I already apologized to him of my behavior. At any given moment, I used any racist remarks to anyone, which I never said anything like that, for that matter. But I said, yes, I used some profanity words, which I shouldn't have used. I have apologized, like I said. And it was towards the ref. I think we've all been to football games. I live the club very well, as I'm a member of AFCO the Company. And a past president, which it makes it even worse that I should have controlled myself. But with the heat of the game and what was happening during the game, I think I know I lost control and have apologized for it. And I would like to apologize to anybody, basically on the air, that was there and obviously heard me curse. And that was about it. I mean, I didn't. Again, I'll rephrase that I did not use any racist remarks. I was asked to leave the grounds. I left voluntarily. Of course, the ref called over the security, but I told the ref, you don't have to call security because I'll leave. And I walked off the grounds and left the grounds.
Yeah, I think. Well, first of all, well done for coming forward and admitting your faults and apologizing for them. But I think there's two different incidents that we're talking about that's been, I guess, on social media. Because you were already gone, the accusation is towards someone else using derogatory remarks. So
it is and it isn't, because I have seen two different posts. I've seen one on social media on Facebook, and I've seen one on Instagram. And the one on Instagram refers a bit to me, because it says that the words were said to the ref. That is false, and I want to leave that false. And I have numerous witnesses that I did at any given moment, told the ref any racist remarks, which I know Antoine, that's his name, I know him. And so the second post that I have seen, those accusations are completely false. And never will I ever use that. If I have played football in Bermuda, I was brought up in Bermuda. I have many friends in Bermuda. Went to school in Bermuda. So I don't know where people like to invent this. And you did say something, excuse me, on the program that before people blow things out of proportion, maybe there should be an investigation, and I think it should be, because there is no space for that in sports and in life, period. So, I just think that I thought that I would be better to come out and say it, and obviously do my apologies publicly to anyone that was on the grounds, and even to Antoine, to the coach, to the ref. Again, the few things I said I shouldn't have said. I cursed obviously to him. It was the heat of the moment. I live my club with passion. activities within the club. And of course, I support the club's committee and also Brian with and the BFA with any investigation that they need to do. Because, like I said, I'll repeat myself. There's no space for that in life or even in sports or anything. So, you know what? I've played football in Bermuda in various divisions. We hear it. So we hear it all the time. Is it correct? Is it right? No, of course not. But it's the heat of the game. It's the heat of the moment. I've been, if you want to call it abuse during the game, but you know what? After the game, that person that probably said that to me came to me and said, you know what, I'm sorry, man. It was just, and I get it. It's the heat of the game. And I think anybody that's played the sport and loves the game and loves the team they play for, you know, sometimes things come out the wrong way. And then when the game finishes and we cool down a bit, we're like, you know what, I shouldn't have said that, what I said. And then the apologies come, and most of the time people accept those apologies. But once again, I want to make it clear that I did not use any racist remarks towards anyone at all when I spoke. And again, I used some profanity words. It was towards the ref, okay? My apologies go out. Sometimes I see Antoine on the street, and I have no problem in apologizing to him personally for my actions.
Sir, as you come out, you said what you had to say in the last 5 minutes or so. As a former president, it still doesn't set the example to use profanity language. That's not acceptable either. If you're a former president, as a former athlete, player, it's unacceptable. So, obviously, to me, this is me saying, something should be done with you regarding the penalty of using profanity language. Had you not used profanity language, had it been just the simple English language, maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation today. So,
I'm sorry, please finish.
So, with that said, we got to look at those remarks too. Yes, it was toward the referee, and that's unacceptable as a fan because we're there to support the players, yes, and enjoy ourselves. And yes, we can't allow to have sports get the best of us. As I said earlier in the show, that we don't want to. Sports is here to not to allow to have the racism, the profanity language. Yes, it does happen, but when you're saying it really, really loud out there and it's heard from everyone, that's not acceptable. And as a former president, leading by example, you got to look at those scenarios as well.
I totally agree with you, and like I said, I could have kept my mouth quiet and just let it go away because obviously I was ejected from the grounds and I left and that was the end of that. Now I do agree with you that I should have controlled myself, especially being a former president of the club, and I have apologized to the president of the club already this morning, and I'm doing it publicly. I mean, I think we've all been to games. We all hear it. We all see it. I think it's just been obviously if there was any racist remarks, it's wrong and it should not happen at all. On what it touches me, on my profanity words towards the ref, it shouldn't have happened either. And I'm actually, I'm assuming the fault of it and apologizing for it. I just obviously lived the game too much and lived the club too much. It's my club, and I just lost control. And you know what? I'm human. I commit errors. I'm here to assume them. And if there's any repercussions, you know what? Like I said, I could have kept my mouth quiet, but I wanted to publicly apologize, obviously to everyone that was on the grounds, especially to Antoine, the ref, which was directed to him. And like I said, I left the grounds and went home. It was at the 90th minute, I believe, something around there, according to what the press has put out today. But again, my apologies are there. I can't force anyone to accept them. but they are with intention. They're not just to just say, oh, let me just apologize because it looks good. No, I'm actually being very honest, and because if I wasn't being honest, I wouldn't call personally and obviously and say what it was and who wasn't. I could have just kept my mouth quiet, like the majority of the fans do. It happens on a regular basis. I've seen it so many times in Premier League games, in so many games. We all know that, but you know what? Unfortunately, because of possibly some remarks that were made after I left the grounds, racist remarks. It was news, which, like I said, there should be an investigation. They should find out who this person is if it really did happen, and because there's no room for this in today's society.
Well, I want to commend you for standing up, admitting your faults, and that's the first part of healing any situation. Obviously, when one admits that they were wrong and the apologies have started, and obviously when you do see the referee, you will have those words with him. But I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your side of the issue as far as yesterday's incident at the match, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah, I just want to make it very, very clear that no, at any given moment, I used any racist remarks towards anyone because I wasn't even on the grounds.
Fair enough. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have Miss Sabrina Burgess in studio with Inside Sports Talk Radio right here on Power 95.
Inside Sports Talk Radio. Power 95 FM. With host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Paisley.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Joining us in the studio now is Sabrina Burgess. First of all, congratulations
Thank you very
on
much.
the accomplishment that you've been working for some time.
Long time.
Long time. And it's
Yes.
been, as they say, hard work yields rewards.
Yes.
You finally get your pro card.
Finally.
How does it feel?
It feels good.
As a bodybuilder, let me make that very clear for the listeners. Bodybuilding pro card.
Yes.
How does it feel?
It feels good.
Yeah?
I've been at it for about 8 years, so yeah, it really feels good.
Let's track back to where you started.
Okay.
What got you into bodybuilding and why are you able to succeed and have the success for 8 consecutive years?
Well, I've always been into fitness, keeping my body healthy, working out. And it was just something, let me just try it. 2010, I started my prep for the 2011 show. And from there, it's just been uphill.
Right. Now, for those who just start out in bodybuilding, they say that the first year is really just see where you're at. And then when you get into it, when you see the transformation, you see transformation in your first year, but you understand your nutrition, your diet, your sleeping habits. This may work this year, but next year it may not.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go through all that type of transitions in your 8 years?
Yes. I would say the first year wasn't really the easiest. My easiest year wasn't hard. I just followed the advice from my coach.
Right.
He gave me a diet. I stuck by it for 20 weeks. Training came naturally because I've always trained. So it was after the first show that I kind of fell off because my body went through that shock.
Right.
So it took about 3 to 4 months for me to get back into the swing of things and say, okay, I'll try it again. And from there.
So when you say the 3 or 4 months, and the reason I'm going to ask this because you thought it would be a smooth transition getting right back into it, but you realized in the 3 or 4 months how much your body has changed.
Yes.
Specifically, more so with the nutrition.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So then once you got back on par, what was it like then to keep it on a stable side of it?
Well, I knew that I wanted to compete overseas. So the focus with me and my coach, we were both on the same page. So, I knew that whatever he said will work. He's trained many of, professionals. So I just trusted him with my physique. And, 8 years later, we got our pro card. But, it was a lot of shows where I came third, I came second, I came first. I have about 5 shows that I placed first, but I did not make that overall win to get the pro card.
Right.
What was the difference this time?
Yeah.
That's important.
Well, you know what? I picked a really big show, over 2,000 competitors in Pittsburgh. It's a show that takes place for over 4 days. My show the latest was on Thursdays. I just wanted to try it. What was different, we changed my diet. And it was just plain with carbs. I never went through a prep where I dropped my carbs completely, but we just moved over from having the dense carbs like the sweet potatoes to rice. And we focused more on my shape because that's what judges are looking for in body fitness or physique. They're looking for that wide back, pumped up delt, small waist, conditioned legs. And we just went with what they're looking for, and I gave them.
that tweak came from the rice, you think, and the sweet potato?
Well, like I said, I train all the time.
Right.
So what happens with my body, I stay full when I eat certain meals. My certain carbs, I keep that fullness. So we wanted to kind of keep that small waist to kind of pull the judges into my physique and work on just building my shoulders. And it helps.
Right.
Yeah.
When you look back at that first show, emotionally you go through a lot because you're going to go out on stage. You've probably done it in the mirror or in front of a few friends. But going out emotionally, how do you handle those nerves? And then you go international to do it.
Yeah, I mean, my first year, they sent me overseas to El Salvador, and it was very shocking. I just said, okay, I'm going to try it. It was very nerve-wracking. But you know what? You walk on the stage, you see your coach, that's who you look at.
Okay.
And that's where my focus always stays whenever he's at a show with me. I just listen for him, look for him, and do what he tells me to do.
I suppose you can't see him up there, how you may focus.
I hear his voice. Trust me, it's been many times I didn't see him, but I heard his
Like a
voice.
shadow and listen to the voice.
And even the shows that he wasn't there, I still heard his voice.
But in
Yeah.
all fairness, you got to give your coach props. So
Oh
please.
yes, Carmichael Bryan. Big ups to Carmichael Bryan. Like I said, he's been training me over 8 years, and I've trusted him all these years.
Right.
So
So back to Earl's question, what's different now? Yes, you managed about the nutrition. What's different basically from a training perspective when you said, look, this is the 8th year of this. How am I going to make it? Did you do anything also with the weight training, the rest? What was different as well?
well, I train 7 days a week. I don't take a day off.
Mm.
I train twice a day. I do 2 hours in the morning, 45 minutes to an hour in the evening.
7 days a week.
7 days a
That's like Saturday too, right? So wait, I can deal with the Monday to Friday stuff, right? But Saturday twice?
week. Yes, Saturday.
I don't know if I can deal with Saturday
Yeah,
twice.
Saturday.
What other days of the week would make up 7 if you...
But no, I'm saying I think I can do 7 days. I remember I think I told you I did that once, right? But twice on the
Yes.
Saturday, twice on the Sunday? No, I can't do that.
I enjoy it.
So
I mean,
why?
I really enjoy it. I mean, I finished my show in August, and I just got back right into the program. I train twice a day. I take off Saturday and Sunday afternoons. I don't do it twice a day. I would still hit the gym twice a day.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is there
Monday
any-
to Friday.
Monday to Friday, and I still train Saturday and Sundays.
That's cool.
Is there any fear of burnout if you do that starting too early in lead up to a show?
In my situation, I would say no,
Mhm.
because I enjoy it.
Okay.
That's my, people go out and sail and do whatever. I go to the gym. I lift weights. That's what I enjoy doing.
So then that means the 8 years has paid off because, as you know, in your 8 years, you've probably seen people start the sport, put in 2-3 years, can't take no more, put in 5, can't take no more. But then when they drop off, they want to get back into it. Not everyone, but they want to get back into it. But it's more of a struggle because you're older. Your muscles are not as lean, you're not as lean as before. To do 8 consecutive years,
Yeah.
that's a commitment too.
Yeah.
And it's also part of your psyche
Yes.
to stay
Yes.
focused on that.
And this year I turned 50, and that was a goal. I'm gonna get it.
I thought she said 38.
Yeah.
50?
I'm 50. Yes.
Yeah, you're lying.
She shows your driver's license. When you're
Yeah.
talking amongst friends,
She's got to do online.
and there's people that ask you your opinion about how one can get started in the sport. What advice do you give them?
My first advice is diet. I say anyone could train. I said it's diet. It's the hardest part.
Sticking to that.
Do people understand? I get it. I get what you're saying, right? But people were saying, yeah, it's diet, it's diet. I'm sure, I can't say. I'm going to ask you this. So when you're dieting, put aside the 20 weeks, I could get that. You're
Yeah.
probably focused on the 20 weeks. But outside that, do you eat, my weakness, let me use chocolate chip cookies.
Hmm.
Do you still eat some chocolate chip cookies?
Yes, I do.
So then your diet, let's put it this way, in 2019, it's not the same diet as in 2012, as you mentioned earlier.
Right.
You were able to tweak things.
Right.
The diets are so different compared to 7-8 years ago, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Do people really understand that?
No. Everybody's body responds differently.
Yeah.
One thing with my body, I have a lean upper body. I carry a lot of my weight on my lower half. So it was kind of hard.
It's just
to-
more of a,
we had to play with things because, when I had, 1 cup of potato versus a cup of rice, it was a difference in my lower half. So we just had to play with those carbs.
So I was looking at you, right? It's like, one potato. Like, where's the difference? No, I get it, right? I get it.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
How long does it take for you to notice, or how long does it take for your coach to notice if you've had a cheat?
Immediately.
Immediately. Oh, yeah. Probably, and
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Does it show in your workout or does it show in your attitude? How does he know right away?
It shows in my body.
Oh yeah.
So hypothetically, just say if you didn't see him for a week
Mhm.
and you came back, yeah, he gave you your programs, did everything, and he'd say in the first session, yeah, you ate actual this, actual
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
That's how it is, man.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is.
The average person would say, "Yeah, you look fine." Yeah.
Yeah. It's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that you have your pro card, how can you advise someone who's just like on the edge of getting their pro card? What sort of advice do you give?
Never give up.
Yeah, that's one thing. Never give up. But bodybuilding has changed over the years as far as competing internationally. It's a lot of shows out there that locals can do. The federation does allow people to do NPC shows or IFBB shows. You could travel to Toronto, United States, and I would just encourage them to don't give up. Just pick that show and focus on that show, and it's one show at a time. I've had 1 year. I done 3 shows in 1 year.
Cost.
Yes.
It's a major factor.
Yes.
And in your case, it was probably coming out of your pocket because you didn't have your pro card then.
Yes.
So this use our term now business sponsorship. That's hard to come by, especially for bodybuilding.
Yes, it
it's
is.
not really a recognized sport. It's a recognized sport, but it doesn't get the attention that it should get.
Well, one thing I must thank the Bermuda Bodybuilding Federation. They have supported me in a number of shows that I've done overseas. They see I'm committed. They see I do make the top 1, 2, or 3 on the podium, and they support me. If I say, okay, I'm interested in doing this show, these are my reasons why, and they come back with an answer, and they will give me some funding towards it.
Well, now that you have your pro card, what does a year look like for you as far as competing?
Well, this is so funny. I walked off stage August the 29th, and I'm like, okay, Carmichael, we're doing a pro show next summer. And that's where my mind is. I'm looking now 10, 11 months. My diet is pretty strict. I'll have a cheat meal on a Saturday, but my mind, I'm focused for that next show.
Okay. You already picked it out? Which one?
I picked up 2 shows, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad you mentioned cheat on the Saturday. So Monday through Friday, you're just eating clean.
I eat clean.
And you're eating, 4 meals a day? 3 meals?
6.
5? 6 meals.
6.
Small portions.
Yeah. Morning, I have 6 egg whites, oatmeal, another 6 egg whites, rice, chicken, potato, chicken, almonds, shake.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
And people think, the average person thinks that what you're eating there, there's no taste to it. Do you season it?
My food is very tasty.
No, seriously, people need to know that because they think that, again, back in the day,
everything has to be clean.
Yeah, everything.
Plain.
Or boiled.
Right.
Yes.
It's not like that anymore.
No, it's not.
No.
So, yes, I will have my meal, and, I have a teaspoon of barbecue sauce on the side.
That's right.
Just to give my body needs that.
That's why it's calling for it.
Yeah.
And that's why people don't understand. They're thinking that bodybuilders just eat this strict meal. That was like, in the 70s and early 80s and bit of the 90s, but it's changed. Nutrition has changed. It's allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
So your cheat day right now is Saturday, but probably I would say, no, you probably by January, you're going to drop that cheat date and start focusing on your new program for next year.
Well, every Saturday I don't have a cheat meal. It just depends.
Depends how you feel.
Yeah.
Because you're that focused.
Yeah.
And you trained yourself that well.
Yes. And number 2, it makes me sick.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you eat clean for so long,
yes.
you put something in there, you're like, my stomach starts talking to me. Yeah, head get the headaches.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
I get that.
Yeah.
I was trying to catch a car last week. You was going up Langton Hill. Somebody that struggled. You knew it was me.
Oh, in the morning.
Yeah, I struggled. So, but that's with Mark and
Shamila. Yes.
She was blending away. But for those who interested in getting into bodybuilding, and of course we're having competitions next year, if all goes well, for 2020. What sort of advice or guidelines should you give someone who's just getting into event now? Like, should they be starting now for events usually in July? Well, if they want to do it in April.
I will say, go ahead and start looking for a trainer.
Right.
Someone that is knowledgeable of the sport. Someone that can direct you. Right now, as far as trying to get your diet clean, you're looking at maybe January, February to get started for a show in August if this is your first show. So most definitely to start now.
Wow. Okay. 8 years. And you're 35. Not
I'm 50. I started at 42. Yeah.
You believe it?
Was that transition easy
At 42?
at 42? Because you always said you like to train. So
Right.
that transition of now training for competition comes a little different, doesn't it?
Yes, it did take a lot of time away from home. So, my husband was very supportive with that, because some nights I'm in my bed 7:30, 8 o'clock, because I'm up at 4.
Right.
And it does it takes its toll, but after doing it for like 2 years, waking up at 4 o'clock and hitting the gym 4 to 5 is something that happens, Yeah.
So how do you prep your meals? Do you have a chef, or does your husband do prep your meals for you? Do you guys work together and prep your
I
meals?
prep my own meals. I prep on Sundays and Wednesdays.
Okay, so you're Sunday through Wednesday through
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Wow. And how long does it take you to prep your meal?
Less than an hour.
Less than an hour.
I've
Oh, because
got it down.
you got it down to a science
Yeah,
where
I've
it's
got it
Sunday
down.
to Wednesday. Okay, I got it. So what time do you do the Wednesday one? Because you're probably doing that Wednesday evening.
Yeah, still got it down. Chicken goes in the broiler, eggs get separated, rice is in the steamer.
Going.
Yep.
Because your broccoli and
my vegetables are steamed.
right. So that's okay. So you got it down.
Yeah.
You got it down to a science. Yeah, the grocery store at a certain day at a certain time.
Yes.
To make it happen.
Yes.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So anything you like to add that we did not ask?
Yeah. A few people I want to thank.
Sure.
Sergio White of Positive Results. All the trainers there, Positive Results, that have supported me over the years. Carmichael, my training partners. I have a few. Jerry D, Aisha, Kai. Kai's also a pro. Bikini Fitness. Rachel, Kimmy, Ellen. All those people that support me and train with me. And my husband, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, no. Yeah.
Would you like to encourage more females to get involved?
Oh, most definitely. Yes. Most definitely. Yeah, because I have a few people that, they send me messages or call and are interested, and, I offer as much as I can.
It's up to them.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. You can give them all the advice. You can send them the pie chart.
Yeah.
You can send them the emails. You can send them the WhatsApp.
Yes.
You can send them the program. It's up to you.
Yeah. Bottom line.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you'll probably get the majority of your stuff starting around March, April quarter, because the summer's coming, and they're like, I want to be ready for the summer. It'd be very nice.
Yeah. No. I tell people they need to get on it now. Yeah.
Cool. Well, keep us posted on your events for next year.
Yes,
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right.
Alrighty.
Thank you. We'll take a commercial break. We'll be back after this.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Basin.
Well, welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Again, it's Monday, October 7th, and of course, Liverpool are 8 points clear at the top of the. I'm only saying that because I know my host here won't be able to get it out, or he will continue to talk about it. So I figured, let me say it, so then he doesn't have to say it. He's already been through the building looking for the Man United fans, the Tottenham fans, and the Arsenal fans, and so forth. But remember, you were 8 points clear last year, the second half of the season.
That's right. And everyone came looking for me.
Yeah.
And they looked for me for 29 years since then, prior to that too. They make that very clear, right? So, in all fairness, right? There's two people that I respect their opinions with their club. These two Man United guys. One said that Mark Sons. He said when they won their last league title, he said it's going to take United 10 years.
Yes.
It's on point. Right?
Well, we'll see after the 10th year.
He's on 5th year right now, right?
Yeah.
But he's on point after yesterday's performance.
He's on the escalator that's not getting the direction I know they want to do yet.
And Sean upstairs said, Woodward, their CFO, chairman, said that's the problem, right? But he also said that the problem lies back with both of them said they don't know each other. They both said that Sir Alex saw this coming. It's one of the reasons he retired. Yes, he was getting old. Yes, that's obviously, but he saw this happening, and there was no succession plan in place. Just buying players was not the answer. All said and done, United's going to go through a situation like Liverpool. Who wants to play for you? The great players don't want to play for you, even if you have the money. Right. It's Champions League football. Right. Yeah. You got to be in the top 4.
That's the attraction.
That's the attraction because that's where these guys get their bonuses on top of the big salaries that they make as it is, right? So it's going to be hard, and October 20th comes. No, I don't want United to win. I'm not going to sit there and lie about it. But the fact is, it's proven. Yeah, you have the great players. Your team will succeed.
Are you a bit nervous because Liverpool hasn't lost in the league since last season?
Good question. No, as you know me, I'm a person like I just take it.
Right. No, but I'm saying, it's got to be a little nerve-wracking because you see, as strong as a team like Manchester City is, they lost twice this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Yeah. And I saw both games that they played, and the weakness that they have this year compared to last year, defense, center halves. Yeah. Right. The guy John Stone they bought a couple of years ago from Everton, he was supposed to be in that starting 11 now on a consistent basis, and he's not making it. Right. He's been a disappointment. It came down, and he's at Everton. It came down to him going to Man City, Man United, or Liverpool. He chose Man City. Well, understood, got the league title. But he hasn't fulfilled the requirements to be that center half, right?
I'm going to upset a lot of Manchester United fans. Should have kept Fellaini.
That's funny. That's funny because they were saying that last night, right? That they should have kept Fellaini.
I mean, when David Moyes brought him over when he came from Everton. People, he's no good. He's no this. He's no. But he survived. How many coaches after David left?
All of them, besides this one.
This last one, right. And he was like a plug, filling in.
He was the central midfielder, the holding midfielder that cleaned up shop. Yeah, right. Big guy throwing over.
But a lot of people didn't like his style.
Right? He wasn't skillful. Yeah. He wasn't attractive looking, but he cut out a lot of the plays, right? Yeah. And that's the stuff that's been unrecognized.
Now my phone is buzzing because the Manchester United fans. I tell you what, I don't have a team, so I can talk about all these teams. So yeah.
Interesting. But it all said and done, it's your question to me earlier. Am I nervous of we have an 8-point lead now? No, I'm not. It's just about the mental aspect of it. You just have to get prepared for it. And luck comes with championships.
Liverpool's pretty much used the same 14, 15 players
last 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. But
international duty, all this coming up. Is there any fear of burnout? Because they're playing a lot of football.
Good point again. Sadio Mane, he's playing. Salah's not going to play.
Right.
And
Yeah, he's pulled out of Egypt.
Right, and another player pulled out, not going to play. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think our bench is stronger. Right?
Okay.
And that's the asset that we have this year. It was the same, pretty much the same bench from last year, but these guys are more mature and they understand it. So we didn't buy any top players because I think what we looked at is what we have we can work with. So going forward next year, don't be surprised. Even if you win the league, you buy 1 or 2 players. Because that's when you say these guys are tired because they've been together for 3 years playing at that pace.
Right.
And I think that's the problem. Just switching up to Tottenham, that's their problem because those players were the same players for like 2 to 3 years and they didn't buy any players.
Right.
Because their chairman's like, no, we ain't buying players. We're putting money into the club.
Right.
And I get that, but I think it's caught up to these guys. Right?
Yeah.
And now if Lloris out into 2020,
right.
their goalkeeper.
I'm about to go training tomorrow.
Who?
Flying out tonight.
You're flying out?
Yeah. Tottenham need a goalkeeper.
I hear you.
Me and Gary Marina's flying out.
Oh, Tottenham. Jeez. All right. He should have now.
Well, you've got to wait for the British to come in, and then you take your chances.
Well, you can catch him, man.
I know. In one of us, they'll have a stopper, not a goalkeeper. So
it's all good, mate. It's all good.
But looking forward to Friday night.
Yeah, just to say,
we had 3 players in the abroad score goals this weekend. We had a striker in the squad locally finding back of the net. 2 of them, actually.
That's right.
So goals are coming from our players. And again, if Mexico want to take us lightly and want to underestimate this small little tiny island that they will touch down on in the next few days, then so be it. I think they've seen enough of us that will give them a little bit of fear that if they give us that sniff, we're going to take it.
Yeah. People have to also realize that if we draw, that's a win for us.
Oh, definitely.
We draw, that's a win. So whether draws or wins, we come out on top of that.
And the most important thing again is that support. I think the players had a training session this morning at the stadium. Most players, if not all, are on island. So the work for Friday night and not forgetting Tuesday night, because we play Guatemala on Tuesday at the Sports Center.
Yep.
Work has begun for these 2 matches, but first and most importantly is the first match, that is in the Nations Cup. Again, we're in second place in the group right now because Mexico has yet to play.
Right.
We both have, us and Panama have 3 points, but they're ahead on goal difference. And we play Mexico Friday night. Then come Tuesday, Mexico play Panama in Mexico. So, we'll have our eyes on what's going on over there after we've done our business here on Friday night. And I'm pretty sure Panama will be watching to try and pick up some information. I know over the last few weeks, Mexico has played USA, which they won 3-0. They lost 4-0 to Argentina, and they've beaten Trinidad 2-0. So they've been in action. We've been in action. Everybody's playing in their respective leagues and clubs, and it's just that match fitness. And I think we'll be a lot sharper now that everybody's got games under our belt. I think when we played Panama that first match, the local based players hadn't played that much football, and obviously the European based players had just started their season. So, but now with a few weeks or a few months under their belts, I think we'll see a different Bermuda on Friday night. You
can see how football has grown in leaps and bounds in the last 6-7 months of football, international football. That is. And one thing that we always cried out for was that they need international matches. They're getting the matches.
Oh,
so the academy players are paying off, and it's dividends to show that it's been a profit. It's been worth it.
I think a lot has to be said about the parents giving their young people the opportunity to try and make something in football by going abroad to these academies. I think a lot of years gone by, it was a lot of fear.
Yeah, right. I agree there, but I agree. Don't get me wrong. And that was the way out these guys were doing. They were going out at a younger age and taking it up. But I'm saying from the local perspective, that they're finally getting more international matches. When you and I would come along, there was numerous international matches.
Right.
As you know, economies and things change, and this happens, that happens, and we don't have that. So for outside the World Cup qualifiers,
Yes.
Bermuda was not playing international matches, not even friendlies of that sort. It became down to a cost factor.
Right.
I'm just saying that in the last year, we've had numerous international matches at the senior level, and it brings out that fire now, like players that you want to bring out. Say, oh, let me come out and try out for the team now. And there's some who want to inquire on it. Let me see if I can make it.
Right.
Because we have international matches, and we always said bring in more international matches, or even go out to international matches. You'll see a difference within our players. You see improvements. So said, so done.
Yeah. It offers so many different opportunities, and I think one of the things that we have to also recognize is that with success on the field also comes success off the field, because we have a number of Bermuda Football Association officials who will be officiating in some capacity other Nation Cup matches starting this week.
That's right.
We have executive members who will serve as match commissioners, who will serve as security officers, who will serve a number of different areas around CONCACAF, who will be off island, missing the Bermuda game because of their duties required to fulfill for the Nations Cup. So, again, we have been recognized by CONCACAF as a developing or upcoming nation on the field, and our administrators have been recognized for the jobs that they're doing as well. So there's opportunities out there. If people want to get involved, I say get involved. You never know where you can be used and how you can actually gain knowledge and experience and possibly the opportunity to travel to represent Bermuda in some capacity as in a CONCACAF match.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's take our last commercial break of the day, and come back, we'll wrap up. And again, congratulations to the teams in the cricket and football chapters for this month of October. Hopefully we get the best of it. All right, we'll be back after this.
Radio, Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Monday. Mr. Basin, it's been an interesting day of Inside Sports.
Yes, it is.
Very interesting.
We want to thank the officials from Vasco and the caller for coming on and addressing some of the issues that arose from yesterday's match. They, as the president indicated, he wants to get ahead of it, and they want to address if there is evidence that a member of their fan club is guilty of these offenses, then they want to deal with it. And you have to commend them for that they want to make sure that they are proactive in, getting to the bottom of the issue. And again, Brian Dickinson encouraging the player himself to make sure that it's documented, and so that all the steps can be taken to ensure that we could stamp this type of behavior out of the game if it indeed happened. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Gratitude. I want to thank also Sabrina Burgess for coming in and giving us an update on her just concluded pro card she won in August, and she's been at the sport bodybuilding for the last 8 years, and she said it has her tweaks, her ups and downs, meaning nutrition plan, weight plan, meaning training, that is, and the hard work has definitely paid off. And she says she's 50. I'm lying, bro. 37, folks. Yeah, she's 50, but she looks that young. That's eating right and taking care of herself.
Right.
So all the best for her going forward. She's already committed for next year. Putting in, I think, 2 shows. Yeah, to keep that pro card going.
Yeah.
Congratulations to her. And hopefully we see some more Bermudians.
Yeah, indeed. It's always encouraging to see Bermudians that want to compete internationally.
Yeah. All right, Don Bassett, thank you very much.
Anytime, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Cool. Enjoy your holiday. I know you're off next week.
Yeah, for a few days.
And this thing sitting in on you.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. That's all the time for Inside Sports. Enjoy the rest of your evening.